I give a word of commendation to fathers. See, fatherhood is the thing, is something to arise out of marriage. So it would be appropriate today we would speak about the issue of marriage. And I must also begin by saying that today is my 29th wedding anniversary. And whenever I get the opportunity to speak, I like to do what men were given a model to do, and that is to stand in the gates and to praise a godly woman. And I have a wife that thought she was marrying a lawyer who would be in a big city in a big firm. I don't know what she thought, but anyway, she was gracious and piteous and married me, and yet she has been one willing to sacrifice much for the sake of me pursuing God's call on my life. And I would be remiss in talking about marriage and families to not say to her, I love you. And I'm thankful for her. And marriage is a great thing. But our marriage is not perfect. It's not perfect. As I said earlier today, in the first service, I remember the day that I did something wrong in our marriage. And and that may have been the second thing I did wrong in our marriage. But we were talking a few weeks ago as I anticipated this sermon, and I got to thinking about what is the perfect marriage, and we talked about it, and I thought, what is the perfect marriage? I thought if a perfect marriage is one in which there's no conflict and no tension and no disagreement and no arguments, then we clearly do not have a perfect marriage. But I don't think anybody does. I don't think such a marriage exists, and I think sometimes we hurt ourselves by thinking that such a thing exists. Now, maybe it does in your life, but most that I see, it doesn't. I think what a perfect marriage is a marriage that has all of that stuff, but by the grace of God, you endure. That's a perfect marriage, this side of eternity. So I want to begin by saying, as we talk about this subject, that I believe more than I am and do. I fall short of what I will say to you every day. I also want to say that I know that marriage and issues of human sexuality in this culture can be very painful. There are no doubt people here and listening on the internet who have had their marriage not turn out the way they had hoped. They are in relationships that have caused them pain, and maybe their marriage has shattered, or they're really struggling to even hold on. And I couldn't get up here and speak about this subject if I did not believe there was a remedy, that there was not hope. For whatever it is and wherever it is you are in your marriage and your sexual relationships, I couldn't do it if all I had to bring was condemnation and judgment and guilt. So I want to begin with that word of hope and grace, because Jesus is truth and grace, and we want to talk about the truth in the context of grace.